Welcome to the sixth video in the series, Foundations of Communist Organizing. Today we'll be going over the 1902 piece by Lenin, Letter to a Comrade on Our Organizational Tasks, which I have subtitled, Party Structure Must Balance Centralism with Local Action. In this text, Lenin talks about the required structure of the party, and specifies a break between a central organ and a central committee. He talks about issues in the movement, such as economism, developing division between the leadership and the workers, and the trend towards democratism, all of which have been rejected completely by the workers unanimously in favor of the Bolsheviks. Lenin calls for a militant, professional, secretive, and centralized and decentralized movement to be built around dual-party center organizations, a central organ and central committee. He lays out the duties of each and the various local committees, groups, and circles too. In response to questions and suggestions of organizational format by A.A. Schneerson, excuse me for my poor Russian, Lenin explains how he envisions the structure of the revolutionary movement, especially under the intense oppression of the Tsar state, even in currently quote-unquote liberal bourgeois states. Even when the class struggle develops, this oppression becomes inevitable for all workers. As such, even if it does not seem necessary currently for your national conditions, a secretive, professional, militant organization seems prudent in the face of fascism. To summarize, Lenin calls for to structure the party center along two leading centers, which will be in harmony via continual meetings. Allow for secrecy to protect from secret police. 1. Central organ, responsible for ideological leadership. And 2. Central committee, responsible for practical leadership. The central organ has a variety of powers and activities, including the power to consent to the creation of new committees. Its aim is to develop and organize both propagandists and propaganda production and distribution. The organ is to receive constant reports and information from the central committee, who it regularly meets to harmonize with, and all local organizations so they can develop the correct line and then disseminate it. Information goes up and down, with constant reports through delegates or representatives from local organs and the international in contact with the central organ. Information goes up and down the party, proving its organization. The central organ and committee learn from the circles that engage in practical work, and turn to develop the ideological line which is disseminated across all circles. To support this, centralization is pursued as a principle aiming at maximization, as it produces a highly developed, homogeneous, minimized, and professional leadership in support of the development of maximal decentralization of the party itself. Through constant information exchange, maximum useful information for correct strategic and tactical decisions is made available. The Central Committee, in turn, has a direct relationship with all committees. It is made up of the most developed revolutionary forces, which are full-time, professional, and fully ideologically trained. This ideological training involves active experience with organizing and leading revolutionary action. They must have immense social acumen and reputation among the workers, and know large numbers of workers. The committee manages all the general affairs of the party, including education, organization, and communication. It must include all leaders of the working class movements and aim at directing all aspects of the local movements, institutes, forces, and means of the party. In general, membership to the committee should only be granted to those with a majority or greater vote of members. The committee needs to support the decentralization of local organizations and the diversity of tactics that they employ, while the center in turn is maximally centralized. It heads local movements, with institutions and branches expanding from it. These start as executive agents who bring the whole working class based on distinct groups and factory subcommittees. These executive agents enter into all forms of organization and establish all kinds of circles, whether they are public members of the party or not. Those organizations that are subordinate to the committee in structure and take orders from it directly. The committee needs to be aware of the makeup of all local groups so that it can make determinations about them, using those determinations to advise, persuade, argue, and conduct the quote-unquote orchestra of the movement. This involves knowing 1. Who is involved in, where and how activity is occurring. 2. Where and how instruction has been received for each committee. 3. Who is not acting correctly and why and where. And 4. Who should be transferred and where to. In regards to the relationship between local organizations, such as committees and groups, and the central committee and organ, this is the thrust of the text. All local organizations should create, support, and consolidate the central committee and organ, maintaining constant communication channels to both. These channels are to be held in the hands of reliable revolutionaries, who will not go off on their own and are politically safe in the sense that they will not cause a scandal of any kind. Committees are created by local organizations with the consent of the Central Committee. These are made up of active and revolutionarily educated members that are enough in number to cover all work and be representative of their local organizations. Should these become too large to function properly, an executive group is made out of those best able to give practical guidance, with that group's activities being subject to approval by general meeting by those in the committee. All circles are subordinate to the committee, and the best members of the circles are placed in specialized roles, or on the committee. These members organize conferences in every workplace, directly engaging with the workers. Due to the dangers and requirements of organizing this directly with the workers and the threats to the larger worker organization, they need to engage in secret work, compartmentalizing action and knowledge, holding meetings irregularly and off the books, and places prepared specially by trustworthy members of the local organization. In addition, not everyone should always go, and they should always invite secret, but well-developed revolutionary members that make sure everyone involved is trustworthy. The committees themselves are maximally decentralized, diverse, and varied, being made up of groups from all classes and sections of the proletariat. This decentralization becomes possible through every individual member, circle, and participant of work of the party having responsibility to the party. This in turn allows for revolutionary centralizations and corrects the issues that comes with centralization. These decentralized committees must have divisions and specialities, with responsibilities to special duties according to personal ability and experience of membership, organized in a specialized and quote-unquote business-like way, such as to achieve perfection in a practical sphere. Committee sizes should be minimized and organized to maximize efficiency, with members having specific jobs that they must fulfill collectively. The creation of a small and directing center, the construction of a network of executive agents which link the committee to every factor, the development of the capacity to distribute literature and have details on the process, and finally, the capacity to form numerous circles and groups aiming at developing revolutionary persons. These groups, organized initially according to district, in turn must only take actions when they are assured of safety, focusing on intermediary work or distribution. They can discuss action, but decisions are to be made by the committee. They have independence only in terms of transmission of information and distribution of materials. Local groups themselves have their composition decided by the committee, who appoints committee members to each district group to oversee work. These local groups themselves should be extremely diverse and decentralized, allowing everyone in place in the movement with leadership arising meritocratically and organically while engaging in a diversity of tactics that are fit for their conditions, both legal and illegal. These include but are not limited to 1. Student organizing, 2. Transportation, 3. Printing of propaganda, 4. Passport production, 5. Creation of secret meeting places, 6. Creation of an internal intelligence service which looks out for spies and agent provocateurs, 7. Organizing within the military to create fraternization, soldiers' councils, and revolutionary defeatism, and 8. Organizing of financially profitable enterprises to fund activities such as worker cooperatives. In times of peace, local groups distribute propaganda and proclamations of the committee, which explain what actions to take. In times of war, local committees instead organize demonstrations and similar collective activities. They engage in compartmentalization of information, with the openness or secretiveness of each given organization dependent on the functions of the organization. The functions in turn determine the organizational form. People who do not fulfill duties that emerge out of the need for secrecy are guilty of direct breach of party duty. And that is my summary of the 1902 piece by Lenin, Letter to a Comrade on Our Organizational Tasks. If you'd like to go over the quotations I derived this summary from, feel free to go into the description below to check out the Google document, which is shared in there. You'll also find a link to the United Marxist Pact Discord server. Feel free to enter into if you want to talk about this text or any other in great detail. We would love to have you. With that said, tomorrow we will be going over the 1904 piece by Rosa Luxemburg, Organizational Questions on the Russian Social Democracy, Leninism or Marxism. Thank you for joining me for today's topical summary, and I hope to see you then.